Good morning to you all. We got another Watchmen update. Lots of news items that we need to talk about and reports coming in from you guys from all over. Do we potentially have peace in the Middle East? Perhaps a new peace treaty is coming out. We also have the tariffs. The tariffs are coming back. July 9th is closing in fast, and the White House is confirming that tariff pauses are not going to be extended. USAID has officially closed down. We'll talk about them and their shady past. Chinese spies being charged with espionage, trying to flip people inside the U.S. Navy against us. We'll talk about alligator Alcatraz. President Trump went and visited it and how fast it was built. And the United States of America is suddenly hoarding missiles and shells, and not everybody is happy about that. We got that and a lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They've been making sure that this channel is able to continue reaching out to you guys. They really appreciate what we're doing out here, what this community is. They believe in the same kind of things that we do. They believe that people should be getting out of dollars, getting out of cash, getting out of the stock market, and getting to physical precious metals. If you have a retirement account that you want to get safer, Jonathan and his team can walk you through that. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, friends, Israel looks like they've agreed to a 60-day ceasefire with Gaza in order to come to a formal long-term peace deal. It's unclear whether Hamas will agree to it as well, but this was brokered by Egypt and Qatar. The United States is in support of this. What they'll get out of it, apparently, is some of the remaining 50 hostages, half of which approximately are still considered to be alive. Also, they'll be having to give aid, more aid to the people in Gaza. And we'll have to see whether or not Hamas sells all of that to buy more weapons like they have in the past. All right, moving over to Florida, which is basically like the Middle East, but it rains more. President Trump traveled to Florida to visit the new alligator Alcatraz. It's a 3,000-bed deportation facility, only accessible by plane. You can't drive in and out of it. You can swim out of it past all the alligators, or you can fly in or fly out. Governor DeSantis, in coordination with the United States government, built this facility in 8 days. They can continue to expand it as needed for sure. The United States Senate has passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, that's what has happened. The Senate has passed it with J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. It now passes on to the House for a final vote. If the House approves it, it will go to Trump's desk for a signature, which apparently he will sign it. It has become an interesting monstrosity. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has announced that USAID, United States Agency for International Development, has officially ceased operations. It got merged with the State Department, and now the State Department has absorbed all the programs that are actually legitimate, which are relatively few. The United States Agency for International Development was once described as a slush fund to pay for the projects that the CIA was ashamed to do. And from what I've seen in the world, that sure bears out. Most of the bribes that were given out in Afghanistan passed through the hands of the USAID. How do I know that? Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't ask. Anyway, Trump says that he doubts that the United States will make a deal with Japan. The trade deals that are supposed to be made out there, not too many have been announced. And it looks like Japan is not going to be completed by July 9th, and said that they are not considering extending the tariff pause beyond July 9th. Current Trump tariffs have already brought in $121 billion and could generate $300 billion by the end of this year. So the people that said that, it won't actually make any difference, That's a pretty big chunk of change. We're talking about multiple billions, multiple trillions of dollars just in the next couple of years. Yeah, that might kind of start to offset this big, beautiful bill. I don't know, and that's part of the argument out there. We got 2 Chinese citizens have been arrested. Were they smuggling in bioweapons into the United States? No, that was last week, friends. This week, 2 Chinese citizens, innocent-looking Chinese citizens, were arrested for espionage. They were allegedly seeking to recruit members of the United States Navy to serve as intelligence assets. Nothing to see here, friends. And we'll completely not mention how many Chinese citizens seem to constantly be wandering onto U.S. military bases, and then they pretend that they're just tourists that just happen to be there. I'm sorry, friends, but if you climb through the fence or over the fence, you're not looking so innocent right now. You know what I'm saying? And why is it just Chinese nationals? Why are the Polish not getting, lost on U.S. military bases? Or the Brazilians? It just happens to be the Chinese all the time. The United States of America is halting shipments to Ukraine of 155 millimeter artillery shells. Patriot PAC-3s, GMLRS, that's the ground-to-ground missile systems, Stinger surface-to-air missiles, and several F-16 missiles, including Hellfire missiles and such, due to low U.S. stockpiles. I'm sorry, I can't confirm for 100% sure that Hellfires can go on F-16s. But anyway, a lot of these smart missiles, smart munitions, we've been sending a lot over to Ukraine, and we've been depleting U.S. stocks of smart missiles and smart weapons. And we've been warning about that on this channel for quite a while. It seems like the Trump administration is starting to defend U.S. interests a little bit more. I appreciate that, because will we have enough when it comes to a fight with China or other major powers out there? It's a good question. Joy in the South says, Central Alabama, my tomato plants usually get hit hard from hornworms. This year I haven't seen a single hornworm and only one brown cutworm. It's been nice, but the lack of moths and butterflies have been a concern. Also, very few bees. Wish I could say the same for wasps and fire ants. We still have lots of wasps and ants and mosquitoes and ticks. Custis says, our Wally World here in southwest Missouri has been out of canned chicken for a couple of weeks. Is anyone else seeing issues with canned chicken out there? We got one case of 24 cans, and it was gone in an hour. Anyone else seeing canned chicken issues out there? I'll be getting out to the Walmart here sooner or later. I'm trying to draw down my stockpiles, actually, at the moment, so I'm not bringing new stuff into the house. Rotate that stuff, right? You got to rotate your pantries. Sharon says, the price of gas went up 20 cents per gallon here at Fred Meyer in Warrenton, Oregon. I don't see gas prices going down. It's $4.79 in Long Beach, Washington, which is a tourist town, though. But, and this is from me now, we're now seeing the lowest 4th of July gas prices since 2021. Average U.S. gas prices are $3.17 a gallon. So if you're in Washington State and if you're in Oregon, that's because you're in Washington State and Oregon seeing those prices. Crypt Keeper says, Troyer's Amish Market. Just a reminder to check your stuff, please. In Limestone, Tennessee, I have purchased nearly all of my meat there for 3 years. I have discovered that the 10-pound ground hamburger meat tubes are lacking about half of a pound of meat in every tube. This is going on for a while. I use a newer digital kitchen scale. Sent them an email, and they told me that there's nothing that they can do about it. I don't like fraud. I am not buying meat there anymore. Been buying there for 3 years. Friends, if you find a good supplier, measure it. Measure it. Make sure that you're not getting ripped off consistently. If you're just buying a one-off from a store, it's not so important. But if you're planning on continuing to buy stuff from that store, check those weights. because you never know. You can't trust the labels on things anymore. They're not supposed to be doing that, but the United States is just not as honest as it used to be. Lisa says, Walgreens does not always honor their sale prices. Check your receipts. It's a good warning out there too. Jeff says, we were pressure cooking about 25 pounds of chicken breast for a youth retreat and would add approximately 1 to 2 cups of water per batch of an 8-quart pressure cooker. By the time that particular pressure cooker was done, it was absolutely full of water. This was Walmart or Sam's Club frozen chicken breast from Sam's Club. We were shocked. And yet that's exactly what they've been doing recently. So when you see a price, remember, you got to know how much meat you're actually getting, not just frozen water that's stuck to the meat. JDI says, sulfur powder stinks like rotten eggs. Well, of course, if you've ever been to Yellowstone, you know that, right? Walgreens has delayed most of my scripts until July 4th in East Tennessee. So we are seeing prescription delays out there. So if you have vital prescriptions, you might want to make sure that you're getting on that a little faster than maybe you usually do, just to make sure that your prescriptions are available. Angel Trumpet says, Tallahassee, Florida, Dollar Tree, shelves of all food items about 90% bare. I haven't heard that too much out there from other places. That might be a restocking issue at your store. If anyone else is seeing anything like that, especially in the Tallahassee area down there, please let us know. Make sure you use that word update, right? Giggies says, Southeast Pennsylvania, Aldi, canned meat section is almost non-existent, barely 3 feet wide, and what was there was sparse and limited. It's been pretty good recently, but I haven't checked in the last couple weeks. So if anyone's seeing Aldi canned meat section looking sparse, let us know about that. John says, years ago in Canada, I would buy 920-gram Folgers tubs for $6.88 on sale. A short while later, they dropped the weight down to 816 grams. So that's about 200 cups of coffee down to 180 cups of coffee. Today at the same grocery store, you can no longer get that size. The new size, 645 grams, I'm guessing about 150 cups. So 200 down to 150 cups for $22. Used to be under $7 for the much bigger one. Thankfully, I stocked up on 75 tubs, 3.5 years worth at that price. Just make sure that you're rotating that because coffee doesn't, it starts to lose some of its flavor, right? So make sure that you're making sure you're happy with your stockpile and how long you're holding on to it. Freeze-dried lasts much longer than other things. So, Angela says, Versant Power in Maine is going up tomorrow another $11 per month for 500 kilowatt hours and up $22 a month for 1,000 kilowatt hours. Reason? Wildfire costs. We haven't had any significant fires here in Maine, though. But why would reality stop them from putting a charge on your account? Seriously. OU fan says, my dad was one of the best in his field of electricity. This is an important update here. He was an electrical contractor and a lineman and then a line foreman for the local utility company. One of the reasons we have had a lot of local power outages, my dad said, was that the utility companies make the line crews install transformers only about half the size they need to be. And then they would make the crews fuse them tight. So, for example, a 100 kilovolt transformer was needed. The crews would be told to install a 50 kilovolt transformer, trying to save money. And if it blows a fuse, they would just change out the fuse. But nowadays, those undersized transformers are really undersized because the demand has gone up and are they are burning up and blowing fuses more often. This causes local power outages in neighborhoods. So be aware that's kind of what's happening out there, especially in the summertime here. And what happens if we have a really nasty winter and everybody's using their electricity like that in the winter? That's not good. Steven says, I just wanted to double down on the warning you had about morphine. I live in Central Texas. It started with about 10-day wait in May, and June I received a warning that they had 0 in stock, and all 5 of their suppliers had none estimated to arrive. I survived for about a week, but then I called the doctor when I still had no estimated time of arrival. They called every pharmacy in town and eventually found one that had just enough for my prescription. But their pharmacist told me that they would probably also be out in July. So if you guys are on morphine or something along those lines, please be checking in, because that prescription does seem to be in very short supply. Termadog says, Southeast Tennessee. Yes, definitely a decrease in all insects. And I live in the boonies. We have 11 chickens running around the yard. I've only seen 2 flies this whole summer. Let me tell you, that's weird. But the only thing I see is giant hornets, which kill bees, and wasps. Even mosquitoes, who love me, I haven't been bitten even once yet this year. We have put out more bird seed, and lately even they seem to be less around. And Patricia says, I use the canned corned beef to make my own corned beef hash, which is much better than the canned corned beef hash you can buy. And there's reasons for that. The canned corned beef hash that you get at the stores, it doesn't use corned beef. If you don't want to know, then don't Google that, okay? But let's just say it uses a different cow part. That's different. Also, you can use it in cabbage, the corned beef. There are many ways to make it delicious, and I think it is an excellent canned meat to stock up on. Well, it's definitely cheap. If you don't like it as is, put a chopped onion in a pan with a tablespoon of oil and cook until translucent. Then add chopped potatoes, chip the corned beef from the can with a fork into the pan, then add just enough water to cook the potatoes and whatever seasons you like. It makes a delicious, economical meal. I like to serve mine with homemade French bread, but you can use any bread or no bread at all. Experiment and find what you like, as I'm afraid meats are going to be out of our price range soon. And that just brings up one more thing in that little comment. One of the things I've seen with preparedness folks is they don't stock enough oil. So whatever oil you use, if you're okay with using soybean oil or canola oil, stockpiling cooking oil is a cheap way to get lots and lots of calories. And your brain does need fats. So your brain, in order to operate, needs fats, and you get that from oil. So if you're stockpiling rice and beans, you can mix cooking oil in there. If you're like, I have to have only olive oil, well, stocking up on olive oil is still a really good thing to make your food taste a whole lot better and to give you a lot more calories. So we got that, and thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. Just tap that, fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.